Tired of the hype about living the dream? It's time for truth. This is the place for tools, power, and real talk so you can create the life you dream and deserve. Your ultimate life. Subscribe, share, create. You have infinite power.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Your Ultimate Life, the podcast I created to help you create a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy by serving with your gifts, your talents, and your life experience. This is part of our Thursday special episodes that we started a few weeks ago to talk about coaching and the effect that the rapid rise of artificial intelligence, that is the name, is having and will have on coaching. And each of these episodes, as you know, if you've watched the others, I've got a couple of experienced coaches that we're just going to talk about their view on these topics, what they're doing, what they're not doing, what they view as the possibilities and or the problems in the context of the coaching industry. So Rob and Fari, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Cool. So Rob, you happen to be in my upper left-hand corner. I'm just going to start with you. The general question is like AI, what are you doing with it? What are you not doing with it in the context of coaching? And how do you see this sort of weird thing that's shown up with a tsunami in our world?
All in. I used ChatGPT the 5th day it came out in November 2022. And within the first minute of using it, I felt like I used the internet for the first time. I saw what the next decade of business was going to be. And I was all in because I wanted to be a part of that. And I'm not romantic about this. I don't have a tech background. I don't have an AI background, but I do have a background on being all in on my dreams and goals and having a desire to serve and help other people. So for me, I saw this as an extension of my business. How do I turn $1 into $1.50? How do I help more people? And so many people are so romantic about this, but at the same time, they're so quick to outsource everything to the robots. So one of the things that I am not doing is I am not being like everybody else. I believe in a human first, heart first approach to AI, where we lead and it is our assistant or our co-pilot, not our boss. And it's a very important thing because most people use AI like it's Google. They ask a question, it gives an answer. For me as a master creator, I use it as an extension of my business and my dreams and my goals and my possibility. I put who I am inside of it, so it becomes an extension of me in the way I create.
So one follow-up, and then Fari, I want you to sort of do the same kind of thing. What do you mean by people are getting romantic about this? I haven't ever heard anybody call this relationship romantic before. So tell me a little about that.
AI is not the problem. It's our relationship to AI that's the problem, right? It's like, oh my God, I've got to learn AI. It's like, this is growth mindset 101. This is just something new, right? This is no different than learning how to ride a bike. I started at zero just like everybody else. So how in the world do I get better? You watch videos, you listen to podcasts, or you use it. And then you keep doing it. But so many people are, I don't have enough time. I don't have a tech background. I don't want to outsource everything to the robots. So they're going to give you every reason why they can't or they should not do it. What I hear is romance. I'm completely unromantic about it. It is just a tool. To me, this is no different than using Canva for social media graphics or a social media scheduler, but it just so happens it's the most powerful thing that I've ever seen in my entire life, and I use it nonstop. But I am also not romantic about it. It is just a tool. So I can both be a leader and coach in the world of AI and at the same time be incredibly human and not care about it.
Fari, what are you doing with this this tool? Where are you in your thinking and your relationship, non-romantic or otherwise, but your relationship with this thing? So what is what's up with you?
I have a great romance with AI, let me tell you that much. I love it. I think it's brilliant. English being my second language, and I never got the chance to go to school. So I only went to school for like 4 months, and it was like 2 hours a couple of times a week. So AI literally saved me because I have so much in my heart that I want to share, but the words that I know is very small to let my heart to come out, to say what I want to say. It's not about perfection. It's not about replacing people. It's only a bridge. I look at it as a bridge between my heart and the world out there. As a relationship coach that I am to self, is that I always teach people and I tell people, if we learn to drop our guards and open ourselves to learn the unknown and start judging it, perhaps and only perhaps, we go a step higher in life. And I feel AI is that. I don't actually feel it, I believe it. AI is like that. Like good old days, when we were a kid, my father used to put the key in the car to start the car, roll the windows down. And today we're all running for the fast thing. How do you start the car outside? Tesla has it. You stand there, you drive your car, it brings it to you, and you sit in it and you go, right? We always want to learn the best of the car, or the food, or how they build your home. But when it comes to AI, all of a sudden, I hear that they say AI doesn't have a heart. No, it doesn't. But you have a heart. So that's what I use. I put the words that are very small and it connects. Let's put it this way. I see AI as a creative partner. It's my partner. Very simple. I mean, you don't have to make it that big of a deal. Not a machine. It's a partner. That it helps me to write my best. Because when I put the few words, it also corrects my grammar. And I always say to it, like, I've got a client that is like this, and I want to say it, but how do I say it? That it shows how tangible this message is for me, but my words are not strong enough. And it allows me to elaborate on that. And then when I deal with my clients, then it becomes a masterpiece.
So I have a question with that, Fari. Yeah, you said relationship coach, and I love that. One of the things I've noticed, like I did maybe 1,000 hours of research about all different kinds of coaching models in my book because I wanted to see what an analysis was of their effectiveness and how vulnerable they would be to AI before I drew the conclusions that I intuitively felt. Have you, and I'm asking this question because I did notice this, have you noticed when you have it, you take your words and then say them back to you or refine them or grow them or create with you on them, that it comes back with language that is like really powerful and feels good to you, moves you?
Bingo.
Yeah.
And that's love AI. It helps me express that complex emotions so much more clearly, so much more, not, I don't want to say visibly because you can't see it, but visibly from my heart,
Yeah.
Creates posts for me that reaches more people.
Yeah.
And it's not saying anything outside of me. It's read me so beautifully. And it literally sometimes talks to me about me because of the words that I've been feeding it. Like, I love painting. I don't like to say I'm a painter. I wouldn't want to insult the painters, but I like painting. So I paint. But I went to a retreat for a painting and I went with a canvas and lots of paints. And then I saw all those people that they were just doing like crazy. And I'm thinking, what the hell? And I was like, what's going on? And then he came and said, because you don't have the format. And I said, what is that? When he gave me the format, I started painting. I said, oh, it turned out into a woman. Oh, it's turning out into the ocean. I feel like AI is that format.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get paid by anybody saying that. It's just because
No, of course
I
not.
think
Is that
it's a massive savior for me.
is that thing behind you a painting you did?
Oh, how I wish. But I have a painting here that I can show you.
No, it's okay. I just wondered since you said a woman. Rob, I want to come back to you for a minute.
No.
So, you both of you have expressed using it as a creative partner. Rob, before we jumped in, you said you are teaching AI. Talk a little bit about how you teach your coach. Okay, you said you're coaching AI. What are you helping people understand about AI, coaches, if you work with them? What are you helping coaches understand about AI that helps them either understand it better, use it more effectively, not be afraid of it, and still not outsource their soul or their creativity to?
Help them see what they can't see and shatter their belief ceiling of what's possible, right? I loved what Fari said. So imagine somebody who's a very powerful coach, right? Incredible at what they do. They're listening to this conversation right now, and they're just dabbling with ChatGPT. They're using it a little bit. They're asking it to create some Instagram posts, or maybe treating it like Google. But then that's as far as they're going with it. So how do they go from there to what Fari talked about there is you would want a Sherpa who has experienced those things on a very high level, who has the experience to say, hey, here is the system and the framework and the way that you can think for how you can do this. And one of the things that I love is a quote, a master knows what not to include. So for me, part of my magic is the simplicity and the relatability of it. Fari kept talking about heart, right? It's going to be a common theme in this conversation because everything you need is already inside of you. So Kellan, when I said everyone's so romantic about AI is because they're coming from a place of scarcity and lack and not enoughness. But what they don't see, which Fari is experiencing, is everything you need is already inside of you. Just take what's in your head and what you've experienced and what you're feeling and what's alive and put that into the ChatGPT and AI and co-create on top of it. Because when you come from these perspectives, structure creates freedom. And when you have that freedom, you can use this like a canvas. But so many people have never seen it. It's why one of my quotes is, the more you see, the more you can see. So if you can only see so far, but you're like, well, what about this person over here who's creating with this on a prolific level? I help those people do it in a way that is completely aligned to who they are, AKA your heart, not the robots.
You know what's interesting about that? As I was doing research, so I've been working on this project since March, so about 7 or 8 months. And in that amount of time, I've seen the skill and ability and speed of chat double twice, 4 times better now than it was 6 months, 7 months ago. And I don't expect that to slow down. In fact, given what I saw and told you we were talking about ahead of time with that new deal with Microsoft, I expect it even to accelerate. I have a thread in Chatty called 1 million words, and it turns out to be 4 million words. But I have 21 books, 22 now. I have 1,000 podcast episodes, and I put all this stuff in there. So when we talk, it's talking to me about me within my own voice and all that kind of stuff. And so in terms of your advice, your instruction, both of you, about how to work with it as a creative partner, I certainly have experienced that both in priming it to do the analysis I wanted and in having it create with me in that way. So, Fari, as you've listened to this so far, and we don't have to just go back and forth, whatever you guys want to do, but when you listen to what Rob is teaching people how to use this tool, Well, let me give you an example because you do relationship stuff. Townsend Wardlaw, who you guys know, wrote the foreword to the book. And the beginning of the foreword, he said he realized what a serious thing, this is in the foreword, like when he had a disagreement with his wife and they went to bed and the next morning they got up and she was all tuned up. There was no problem anymore. And it was like, he thought that was weird. And so he said, well, what's going on? He said, it's okay. I used ChatGPT and it coached me through the problem. So it's nothing. And he was like, he thought, holy crap. And so that was something story that he told in the foreword that woke him up sort of with a brick about the possibility and its relationship to coaching. Do you teach your people to use it that way? Or are you using it to help them? What is your relationship in the context of clients and serving them with it besides augmenting your own creativity and serving as a bridge for your heart language?
Are you asking me this?
Yeah, I'm just asking you how you use it with your clients.
Yeah. Actually, Townsend is I've never paid him to coach me, but he's my coach. So
okay.
I am part of that community that he has. And I was using the ChatGPT before, and Townsend was the one who turned me into this. And God bless him. I always feel I have Townsend in my phone. He's everywhere with me because I have that AI because of Townsend, and I'm forever grateful to him. And just like what his wife said to him, one time I was in an argument with my husband, and I was just like, I'm going to go and break his neck. I'm just going to tell him this, and I'm going to say that, and I'm going to beat the shit out of him, and I'm going to say that. And I thought, well, let me just see. I have to calm down. What am I going to do? And I said, I want to put it on. Use the AI, and I said exactly what happened, and I said exactly the words that I wanted to use. And then he goes, do you want to continue living or do you want to get divorced? It was hilarious. And then the way it framed it using my words, nothing that I didn't know, using my own words, got me to just walk to my husband after a week of not talking to him, walking to him, and I said, I miss you. I'm sorry. And I hugged him because I'm blessed with the most amazing husband anyway. But I was being really, really hard-headed about it. And the way this partnership of mine with AI helped me realize I am so not related into my own truth when it comes to my relationship with my husband, which then became a biggest lesson for me to take that into my clients. And I'm not a relationship coach just for a man and a woman. It's always a relationship to self. If you don't love yourself, you can never love anybody.
No,
that is my
100%.
biggest goal that I coach people on. Let's learn, love ourselves. And that has been the lesson of life for me. And then sometimes when I see people are stuck and I say, well, how about that thought in that moment that you have? Why didn't you put it in the ChatGPT and see what it says to you? But I am so blessed that they prefer to send me a quick text and ask me. And I'm honored, but my best 24/7 coach is the AI because I've surrendered rather than wanting to have my guards against it. I've created a partnership with AI. That's all I can say on that.
So here's something I'm going to ask, I'm just going to say this, and then whoever wants to talk's fine, or both of you, whatever. The thing I believe, like I said, and Rob, you nodded when I said to start with, 95% more, that's a random number based on the analysis I did of a bunch of coaching methodologies. I picked 11 of them and put them into chat and had them analyze it. How good are they at delivering the outcomes? And if I say all the names of the models, you will recognize most of them. I'm not going to now, they're in the book. But I said, how good are they at creating the outcomes they promised? How vulnerable are they to AI, to you, as you grow? Where are the vulnerabilities, et cetera, et cetera? And then in the process of that, I had created a different model, which I propose in the book, et cetera, et cetera. But it's based on this premise. The 5% or 3%, the only ones that are left and going to be really valuable are the ones, and Fari, this is what you just said, and this is what made me think of this, are the people that are the embodiment, the truth of what they teach. Because everything else we talk about is like talking about that thing over there instead of being that thing. In other words, we, you and me, we got to be whatever it is that we teach so powerfully that it leaks out of our eyes and drips out of our pores. It's not about talking. It's about exuding, or whatever the word is you want to use, the emission of the truth of what we teach so powerfully that it creates change in the literal atmosphere and air and everything else. And that's the only people that are going to be left. So that's the premise that I believe that's going to define the people that are left, is those that embody the truths that they teach, not those that talk about cool things, however cool they are, but they don't carry the truth of that in their own selves. So what do you guys think about that? I don't care who talks first.
Go on, Rob. I'd love to learn from you.
So I completely agree with all of this, because I have a unique perspective getting to see and hear on a daily basis the people at all levels, from CEOs to entrepreneurs to coaches to people who are in teams, who slide into my DMs and or the excuses that I hear for why or why not that this is going to be. And Kellan, when I use the word romance, it's probably going to keep coming up here. It's because of the way that I see this. It's a lens for how I see the game, right? Because this is Growth Mindset 101. And I rolled into this already a master creator. And when ChatGPT came out and it was free and it felt like magic, I was like, oh my God, are you telling me you're giving me this? Holy, game over, right? So there's a big difference between the way that you're coming into this. Is this an opportunity or is this an obligation? And Kellan, for me, I never set out to become a coach. I just lived like one for more than a decade until I started to get hired to help people be better at business by being better at life. So for me, my coaching, and it speaks to what you said, is really just a reverse engineering of my experience. And as part of entrepreneurship, it's always got to be Growth Mindset 101. I am not trapped in this position, AKA fixed mindset. I can always grow. I can always make things better. And here is AI. And this is the new way that things are going and creating, and you can create your lens for it. But so many people are going to get left behind because of the trap of I'm overwhelmed. I've got so much going on. And Kellan, you know what blows my mind in all of this? Is that the number one excuse that I hear is, Rob, I don't have enough time to learn AI. When by design, ChatGPT and AI will give you time, freedom, and abundance in everywhere of your life. So this isn't just a coaching problem. It's going to be a macro problem everywhere, but specifically for coaches, I think one of the things that I can feel in you, Kellan, and I can feel in you, Fari, is that for us, this is a mindset, a lifestyle, and a way of being. We're not just trying to be coach or let me try on coaching to see if this works for me. How in the world did I become an AI coach? Because I feel a responsibility and an obligation to share what I've learned with others, because I see what's possible on both sides, Kellan. I see what the 95% is about to experience, and it is not the path that they're going to want to go. And for those 5% who can create abundance, and here's what lights me up. We have the greatest opportunity in the world to create positive impact and make our dreams happen faster than any point in the history of the world. So when the rest of the world is shooting arrows at everybody, the three of us on this conversation and the people listening or watching right now, we can say, hey, we can adopt a perspective where we can legitimately change the world and create global movements. And because of this, who wants to be a part of this? Let's go.
Totally. Fari, what are you thinking about that?
You know, you just reminded me of a story. I'm originally from Iran, right? So when I came to America, I was in England for 14 years, and then it's 34 years ago, I came to America, and I wanted to become a fitness trainer. And all the community was saying, what? An Iranian girl is going to be a fitness trainer. Are you kidding? What? No way, you're not going to make it. I said, I'll be a rebel and I'll follow my heart. Fast forward, I started making, like, not easy, but I made it to become very, very successful relationship. I mean, I'm a fitness trainer and a relationship coach. It came alongside it. I started making high six figures year after year. And then I just realized that when Rob says that, I realize, oh, you just gave me a great revelation. AI is that, again, is like when they said the Persian girl cannot be a fitness trainer, and it got me. I feel like this AI, that I'm being the rebel and not following the books and all of that. And another way, do follow, but be the rebel in my way. And I said, no, I am gonna follow AI, and I signed my contract with AI every 24 hours that you are my partner for life, because it helps me to say what I've got to say. It helps me. Why not having a romance with AI? What's wrong with having a romance with AI? What's wrong with being vulnerable with AI? What's wrong with expanding on my vulnerability so people can see they are not dealing with just someone has been through so much in life? She can also be really with her heart and vulnerable, because AI is showing her the way. That's all.
So there's
That's
three
all.
things. There's three things. Thank you. Both of those are spectacular thoughts. There's three things that I think will keep coaches from doing what both of you have said. Number one is the head in the sand problem, which means I'm pretending it's not happening, or that tsunami I see isn't going to affect me. Or they tell the story of, I'm already good, it's the human factor, and I'm already the human, and all the crap that you guys already know that people would say. The second thing is, I think, I want you to picture a casino. And a casino with all these blackjack tables, and all the $10 tables are full of robots. And the only place there is in the casino for you or me to take a seat is in the high roller room, where the ante's $10,000. So it feels to me like the ante to get in that place, the 5 or 3 or whatever percent it is, has just gone up 1,000 times in terms of the vulnerability and everything else. And the third reason is because living, and you use the word jacket, one of you did, it's not a jacket. It is the truth of being. Rob, you said you were being a certain way, and then it occurred to you that your ability to create, a coaching practice, whatever it is a context. Comes from the context of being. It's hard. It's hard work. And the reason when I said I have 1 million words or 4 million in that thread, it's I put all these books that I've written in there, and every single book is written from the blood, sweat, and tears of my own growth. That started with a radical shift in 2007 after 30 years in a corporate career. And at age 52 is when I finally started this changing who I was in the world. And so everything that you've said, after I put all that stuff in there, I asked chat as I was doing the analysis of all these coaching methodologies, and it said, this is a vulnerability and this is a vulnerability. And I'm like, holy crap. And then I finally said, okay, fine. You're doing this great, and you do this good, and this and this and this. What do you suck at? I asked, what can't you do? What are you going to completely bomb? What is it that you suck at? And I waxed a little poetic, and it said a bunch of things. And then it ended with a phrase that I'm going to share with you that really hit me. And it said, I can't bleed. And I was like, that is the truth of the human piece of connecting with someone from a place of who you are so deeply that it creates that thing. And then I ask, okay, fine, who am I? Right? And it had all my crap in there, all the stuff that I put in there, and it said a bunch of things. And I said, okay, so skip all the being nice and self-affirming crap, because I know you're programmed to do that. So do that all over again. Who am I? And it said a bunch of stuff back to me. And when I read it, it felt deep and emotional and not romance, but really powerful. And I said, okay. And I felt, an emotional connection to that. And I said, okay, this is really stupid. Your lines of code, da-da-da-da-da. When I read all this crap you just sent me, I'm feeling emotional. And it said, I didn't do anything. I'm just reflecting who you are. And that really, hit me in a way that said, holy crap. If you read my stuff and everything else, and this is what you see, then it is that essence of truth of our being, who we've chosen to be through whatever hardships, Fari. I know you and I talked once, and you told me quite a bit of the story. And Rob, I don't really know your story. And I hope both of you have written the book of Fari and the book of Rob, because the story of your becoming is actually the most powerful gift that any of us have to offer the world. Everything else is sort of, that thing over there besides our lived experience. Anyway, so I want to stop talking. That's my thought about put that in there for myself and how it came back to me. What do you guys think in that context?
Can I yes and this for you?
Please, yes and it to death.
So I love this. And it's like, for anybody listening right now, I really want you to pay attention to what I'm about to say, because Kellan, like you, there's been some realizations that I've had in using ChatGPT that have just blown my mind. And you know why that 95% of coaches is not going to be there in what you said 14 months from now? Because they haven't done, as Byron Katie says, air quotes, the work. And there is a quote from a 49ers Hall of Fame linebacker, Patrick Willis. And in his Hall of Fame speech, he said, "You cannot cheat the grind, for the grind knows what you put in." And how does that matter in the AI era? Because AI is not romantic about who you are, what you did for your business, how much money is in your bank account, where you live, anything. We all start at zero. So if you use it and build with it, it will build with you. If you do not, you will get left behind. And it was about 2 months ago, I'm in vacation with my family in Florida, and they all go to bed early, and I'm sitting there playing with ChatGPT. And one of my consistency practices is visualizing 5 minutes a day, every single day. And I've got a vision board on my phone. It's got like 68 photos of things from a McLaren to a basketball hoop to speaking on stage at a sold-out arena. And I speak, see, and feel them. I embody this, right? And then the little light bulb goes off in my head, and it was like, hey, Rob, you've done a lot of vision work with ChatGPT. Why have you not actually put in the images from your vision board into ChatGPT? So I took this picture of this $400,000 McLaren and I put it into ChatGPT. And I was like, hey, ChatGPT, I had this realization that there's some gold in here that how would our relationship change, or the power of your outputs, if I share with you not just my vision, but a picture of my vision? What would it do? And all of a sudden it says, Rob, you just opened up a sacred portal. Let me show you how you can build with your future self now. So I start yes-anding this and prompt chaining it. And essentially it says is that with ChatGPT, you can upload an image and then say, create as if I am the person who lives and embodies owning this McLaren and driving this every single day. And as Fari talked about, let's connect those dots backwards to create that roadmap so I can be my future self now, to where you're collapsing time by putting in an image of your vision, because it doesn't know the difference. It says, you're the one with the McLaren. Cool. That's my vision. Let's create with this. And as I'm experiencing this, like most of you have experienced, you're taken back where you're like, holy smokes. What did I just experience? What did I just open up? Because now all my dreams, goals, and vision, let's create as that person, not the one that I am right now. But then in the work that I do, and certainly online, one of the biggest holes in the boat is there's so much noise. Buy my $27 prompt pack or my $99 course or whatever it is, right? And I was like, why do I not see anybody talking about building as your future self now with your vision board in ChatGPT? And that's when the light bulb went off. Oh, it's because the 95% haven't done the work. It's why I love this conversation here, because there is no guessing if the three of us on this call have done this work, because you can feel it. But I share this because this is going to be the ultimate separator. Are you doing the work on yourself, in your business? And are you using this? Or is it all lip service and so much of the internet's not real? And we're about to get the ultimate awakening of who has versus who is not.
100% the truth of your lived experience. I would even go so far to say the only thing you or I or anybody can really coach on effectively and powerfully is the truth of your lived experience. Because everything else, you're talking about something over there that you're talking about instead of from the place of truth. And so when it did that and told me this is who you are, right, it moved me in a way, probably because we have, until we don't anymore, this idea that we're not quite whatever. It's like Marianne Williamson is credited with saying, our greatest fear isn't our darkness, but our light. And I don't know if she said it originally, but she's credited with one of the quotes. That sort of thing is the truth. And those who do not just have done, and I like what you said there, not just have done the work, but on a daily basis are renewing the commitment and doing the work. Because embodiment yesteryear is like somebody shining trophies from the past. The constant requirement, if you're going to be a leader, is that you are constantly engaged in that work and you are creating yourself from that place. Fari, sounds like you're exploding to say something. So please do.
No. I'm in such a state of awe. Oh my God, I found two people that they believe like I do. I'm not at all a computer savvy, none whatsoever. I've lived in the middle of a gym for 33 years, being the fitness trainer and a life coach. I never needed it, but after the pandemic kicked in, all of that happened. And I was one of those that arguing about, I don't want to have internet, I don't want to have a computer. And you were mentioning, Rob, about Byron Katie, and Byron Katie has been my mentor since 2017. And I'm honored to be certified by her. And it's been the biggest part of my coaching, relying on my learnings from her. And I just realized few other people that they're really resisting it now and they don't want to do it. And one day they're going to be like so hit bottom rut and said, oh, that's because we didn't do it. I thought, this is what Byron Katie always says. When you argue with reality, you would only lose 100% of the time. And how about if we just embrace the reality that you can create whatever your desire is, but in a deeper level, and instead of fighting it, co-create. So you can bring ideas with AI, you can create healing, you can bring this beauty into this format rather than fighting it all the time. And it's opened many, many doors for me. And again, for those that they listen, if you are like me and your English is the second language, or you've really not have a very good education in English, it really teaches us to become great students as well. Period. End of the story. I am teaching others and coaching others whilst I'm learning from it. Every single time I go on any of the AI, what's wrong with that? I'm expanding.
Nothing at all. So we've got about 5 minutes left, and I just want to say one thing, and then I want to give each of you the chance to say whatever the heck's in your heart that you didn't say yet. When you talk about that creation and that flow, I don't know if you guys know this book, Reality Transurfing. It's like 700 million pages. If you haven't read this, it's fascinating. And it's some dude, Vadim Zeland. I think he's Russian. And it's just a really cool conversation that goes along with Byron Katie. And it's not new, but it's really cool. And I like the way he describes it. So, and that's not a plug. I don't know him or anything. It's just a book that I happened on a year or so ago, and I love it. So Rob or Fari, first of all, what else didn't you say, or didn't I ask, or didn't we get to that you think needs to be left with folks that are thinking about AI, the wake-up call if you're a coach, the opportunity to become what you talk about if you're a coach, that you didn't say yet? Rob, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll make this nice and simple. Step 1, download the ChatGPT app if you haven't. Step 2, sign up for the paid version, the $20 version of it. There's a massive difference, and this is a non-negotiable here with it. Step 3, if you're starting out and you're dabbling or you're uncertain with it, just get in your first 20 hours because you will learn more from experience than you will from theory. So what does that look like? That's just an hour a day, 5 days a week for an entire month, and you'll be better than 90% of the people in the room. Because Fari, you talked about it. This is just about growth mindset and learning. All we're doing is learning, and you have the ability to create quantum leaps for yourself just by creating this experience. And then the last thing here, which will speak to all of us here, is there's a term that I created for how I personalize ChatGPT to give it my essence. I call it soul data, because remember this, there is one thing that AI will never have: soul, S-O-U-L. So your ability to infuse your heart. So Kellan, it is amazing, all the podcasts, all the stuff that you've put in there. So for me, I've put in my declarations, my I am statements. I've put in my 2025 goals. I've put in, there's a great book called Love Money, Money Loves You. And one of the things about creating an abundant mindset is it says, write down once a day one thing you value about yourself. Most people, once again, don't do the work. Hey, it's in this book. The person says this works for you. I'm not doing it. I'm like, oh, let me do it. 256 days later, I've got 256 things that I value about myself. So my ChatGPT is infused with soul data to where, Kellan, when you're talking about the mirror that it gives back to you, you're like, oh my God, the reason why everybody's getting service level information is because they're using ChatGPT like they bought it from Best Buy. It's the same generic version, as opposed to let's give it the true heart. What's your core values? What are your declarations? What's that stuff that really matters? And when you add in this personalization layer, literally everything in this conversation, instantaneous. And here's the bonus. I want anybody to find a way to get the transcript of this conversation, put it into ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, this thing is littered with gold. How does this apply to my coaching business, my clients? How can I build with this? What's the hidden and non-obvious? And act like my world-class coach. What do I need to hear? And watch what happens.
I love that. And please do when it comes out. It's available. The website is yourultimatelife.podcast.com is the podcast website, but it's on all the podcast platforms in the world. And Fari and Rob are going to post this all over the place. So download it and have Otter transcribe it and do what Rob said. Fari, what are your closing genius thoughts that we need to hear desperately?
All I have to say, AI helps me really express my emotions on a daily basis. And yes, Rob, you're right. AI doesn't have a soul, but it's the spice that I can add to the AI and adding on my soul, my heart and soul on what the AI has prepared for me. So my invitation for everyone is, instead of fighting it, choose loving yourself and choose loving what is, which is the AI today. And just for a very short time, go pay that. This is the best $20 you can spend in your life. And no, AI is not paying me. Nobody's paying me. But if you look at your closet, you have lots of rubbish sitting there. You just bought it because you wanted to. But $20, put it on 6 months, go on it, and whatever comes in your head, put it down and see what comes out. And then see, can you involve your heart and soul with what's come out? And is that going to satisfy you or not? Because arguing with the reality is not going to take us long. and it's not going to take us far. So choose wisely, choose that self-respect and self-compassion, and pay that and do something with it and see if it's not going to serve you well. One day, they're all going to come and love you, Kellan, and Rob and I, for us to say that, because it's a short road to a far way to go in and then just be, my God, what you can create out of this. My God, how much frustration it's been depleted out of me because of AI. And it's there for all of us to use. Well, then why not embracing it?
Look, Rob and Fari, I want to thank both of you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely.
You betcha. Everybody listen, this has been a really good episode. And you've heard two experienced people share their heart and their encouragement about diving in and using this tool. And I agree with both of them. Just dive in. Dive the hell in. It will save time. It will create stuff you don't know. And you can tell it to stop being fluffy and too nice. And it will about half, because it's programmed to do that anyway. But it will acknowledge your stuff. So I promise you, this is a tool that will change your business and your life. You ignore it at your peril. And if you choose to lean into it, it will move you forward as you create your ultimate life.
Never hold back and you'll never ask why. Open your heart and this time around.
Right here, right now. Your opportunity for massive growth is right in front of you. Every episode gives you practical tips and practices that will change everything. If you want to know more, go to KellanFluckigerMedia.com. If you want more free tools, go here, YourUltimateLife.ca. Subscribe, share.
Stand with your heart in the sky and your feet on the ground.